Hi, guys. I just want to take a few moments to talk about a couple of books that I'm reading. So, the first is called The Master. The Master, The Long Run and Beautiful Game of Roger Federer by Christopher Clary. I'm not, I've read very little into the book so far. This is, this is how far I am. This is an Uchi gift card from when I took my girlfriend for her birthday. Uchi is so good. Anyways, I'm going to try not to get sidetracked and I'm going to try to keep everything in frame, situated. Okay, this is the first book. The second book is The Energy Bus by John Gordon. Okay, and in both of these books, although I have not finished them and I have not read the whole thing, they've been extremely insightful. Extremely insightful. And what I want to talk about today is how important your outlook and interactions with other people are. I'm barely into this book. And the beginning part of this book is just the author talking about Roger Federer's interactions and how kind he is and how he asks questions and how he makes people feel like he has time for them and that they're important to him. And it really goes to show, I don't want to phrase it as saying the power of being kind to people, because you don't want to be kind to people to get something out of them. That's not the point of being kind. But it makes such a difference for your own fulfillment and in the lives of others. It's just like here, for example, there's an excerpt where it talks about Roger going to different countries and having exhibitions, even though he really didn't need to. Like, he didn't need the money, but he would go in order to make people happy. So here, I'm going to read an excerpt. So, the interviewer, the guy writing the biography, is in the car with Roger. And he's asking him, so does it start to seem normal after a while? I asked as the car carrying the fan with the RF cap accelerated out of view. So basically, they're in a car pulls up next to them, and there's a fan in a Roger Federer hat that pulls up next to the car and starts like motioning at Roger. So the guy interviewing him, that's spending time with him to try and get to know him better to eventually write this biography, says, so does it start to seem normal after a while? I asked as the car carrying the fan with the Roger Federer cap accelerated out of view. This? No, he said, his voice rising to a higher pitch. This is unbelievable. It's just nice to see happy people in general, right? And this is just another world here. That's why I love playing exhibitions, because it's different. You finally go to a country maybe you've never been to before, or do things you normally don't have time to do. You don't have to worry too much about how you're really going to play, even though there is a certain level I can always achieve. But it's about really, how shall I say, making sure that you touch a lot of people's hearts in an exhibition and make them happy and make them not travel to come see you, but you come travel to see them. He's not going to these countries for money. He's going to make them happy and to go to them so that they're able to watch him play. Like, he understands the talent that he has and he wants to share it with people. And the energy that Roger Federer took into spending time having conversations that frankly he didn't need to have. He's Roger Federer. It's like he's the most elegant tennis player of all time. It goes to show the kind of person that he is. And that same principle that is built upon in the energy bus, where it starts out with this guy just depressed and he kind of has a victim mentality, to be honest. And it's like everything's happening to him and not for him. So I'll read the summary or the excerpt of the book. It's Monday morning and George walks out of the front door to his car in a flat tire. But this is the least of his problems. His home life is in shambles and his team at work is in disarray. With a big new product launch coming in 2 weeks for the Energy 2000, he has to find a way to get it together or risk losing his marriage and job. Forced to take the bus to work because his car breaks down, George meets a unique kind of bus driver and an interesting cast of characters who, over the course of 2 weeks, share the 10 rules for the ride of his life. In the process, they help him turn around his work and life, saving his job and marriage from destruction. Everyone faces challenges, and every person, organization, company, and team has to overcome negativity and adversity to define themselves and create their success. No one goes through life untested, and the answer to these tests is positive energy. The kind of positive energy that consists of the vision, trust, optimism, enthusiasm, purpose, and spirit that defines great leaders and their dreams. This is the basis of the book. You are the driver. You are the driver of your own life, and you can decide to be a victim, frankly. I'm also speaking to myself here. I'm not talking at you. I'm not telling you you're a victim. That's not what I'm trying to say. You have a choice, right? You can make a choice to be intentional with people. You can make a choice to be kind. You can make a choice and a decision to try and be positive regardless of the other things that are happening around you. You can make a decision to take control of your reaction to positive or negative or in between events. Or you can be tossed around like a leaf in the wind because you have no control over your emotions and your decisions, because you allow your emotions to dictate everything you do. And this applies more to the energy bus and, taking accountability for your actions, taking accountability of what you control. But it really makes a difference. It makes a difference in your relationships. It makes a difference in your career. It makes a difference in your ability to network. It makes a difference in people's opinion about you, which, on the internet, we want to talk about, it doesn't matter what people think of you, just be yourself. Sometimes people can rightly judge. I'm not saying in a negative way, but if you're a jerk to people, they have a right to judge you as you are a jerk to people because of the way that you behave. You know what I mean? It's much better for people to have a positive outlook on you and you have positive interactions with them, and then for them to think that you're a kind, considerate, intentional individual than for them to just write you off as you just don't care. You know what I mean? So I'm not talking about if you're doing something you really want to do and something you're passionate about and people are judging you, don't give those people the time of day and don't pay attention to them. It doesn't matter. But if there's, a consensus of people that have a negative opinion about you because of the way that you treat people, that's a different thing. You want people to have a positive opinion of you. You want to be able to network and make connections. Hi, doggy. My dog. Hi, mama. You want these positive things, right? And the way that you treat people matters. And sometimes because of anxiety or because we've had difficult things happen to us or because we're going through a rough patch, believe me, I get it. I've been through rough patches. I don't have enough fingers to count how many rough patches I've been through, But at the end of the day, you are faced with a choice. You can continue to be the same way that you have been, and nothing's going to change, or you can make a decision to take ownership and accountability of the decisions that you make and the actions that you take regardless of how you feel. And I think this is the lesson that I'm not so much gathering from the Roger Federer book. I think this is more, it's just fascinating to me, his personal life and how he treats people and how intentional he was, but especially with the energy bus and trying to learn about relationships and personal development and growth. We have a choice, guys. You have a choice. There's a quote by Jim Rohn that goes, to get something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done, or you have to become someone you've never been. Nothing's going to change if you don't. Nothing's going to change, and you're going to keep being sad, and you're going to keep being anxious, and you're going to keep being upset, and it's going to continue to affect your relationships and the people around you if you do not make a decision to do what's best for you and not take your emotions so seriously. Emotions are good indicators, but they shouldn't be driving the car. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm angry. Okay. You're angry. Should your anger dictate your next action? Probably not, because it's probably not going to be a good one. I get it. I've seen red before and I'm just angry and I want to hit something. That's human. That's everybody. You shouldn't feel shame for feeling that way because everybody's felt that way at some point in their life. It's okay. People get angry. People get upset. What's not okay right, is if you allow that anger to take control of you and it dictates your action and you hurt yourself or you hurt somebody you love verbally, or nothing good comes out of taking action because you're angry, ever. It's the same way with other emotions. Most of the time, nothing good comes out of you taking action from being anxious or insecure about something. Nothing good comes out of you taking action out of fear. These emotions cloud our judgment and cloud our ability to think logically and make decisions. Thus, we have a choice. Again, I'm going to refer back to what I just said. You have a decision. You have a decision and you have power over your own actions and over what you do with your life. And I understand it's difficult. And for a long time, I feel as though I would kind of use outside circumstances as excuses to continue to feel a certain way, like to continue to be sad or to be grumpy or to be in a bad mood. And, you look for excuses or things you can hold on to kind of feel comfortable in this space that you have where you don't have to grow, because growth is uncomfortable and it causes you to change and it's difficult and it takes more energy than just doing the same thing. A lot of times it's easier to be sad and it's easier to be angry than the alternative, or to talk about it, or to let somebody in. It's easier in the short term to isolate yourself, although it's pretty detrimental in the long term and it costs you relationships and stuff like that. I've done that in the past. I don't want the same for you guys, which is why I'm talking about this. You have a choice. Long story short, you have a choice. You can continue making excuses. You can continue to be sad. And I'm not telling you can't be sad. But save the being sad for things you actually need to be sad about, You know what I mean? Like, there's going to come a day where something bad happens in life, unfortunately, Our families are not going to live forever. It's not. It's not the reality. That might happen. Somebody might pass away. You might get laid off in a job that you were doing really well in and you enjoyed, but it's just the way it goes. So many things in life are out of your control, and if you do not control the one thing that you can't control, which is you're going to have a rough time, because you're going to waste so much energy reacting to all these other things that are happening around you and things that you don't have control over, instead of focusing your energy on your reaction to things and on managing your own emotions and to trying to move about your life in a productive way. You have a choice. We have a choice. And we got to do better. I'm not telling you you're doing a bad job. I'm just saying in general, we should always try to do better. And if this is something that you struggle with, like I have in the past, there's a practicality to it. There's not always super complicated solutions and answers to our problems. Sometimes it's very practical. And in this case, you have to force yourself to do the thing. It's like when you wake up in the morning and you don't want to make your bed, or you don't want to get out of your covers because you're nice and cozy and you're warm. Don't give yourself time to negotiate. You literally have to force yourself to get up, because the more you sit there and negotiate and be like, oh, well, I have time to stay here for 5 more minutes. It's okay. I have time to do this. Why? Why are you lying to yourself and negotiating with yourself? Just force yourself to get up. It's the same thing. If you have an email, this ties into procrastination. If you choose to make excuses for yourself and not take accountability for your actions and for the way that you manage your own emotions, and you allow outside factors to constantly impact your decisions and actions, you are procrastinating becoming a better version of yourself. You are procrastinating your own personal growth and development, and you are procrastinating on the improvement of your relationships and of your personal and professional life. Because it's difficult. Because it requires change. It's the same principle. Do not negotiate with yourself on procrastinating things that you need to do. It's the same with making your bed. It's the same thing with getting out of bed. It's the same thing with having a difficult conversation that you don't want to have. It's the same thing with cleaning something you don't want to clean. You're just procrastinating something that's going to make your life better. Maybe you don't see that in the short term, but in the long term it is. This has been a struggle of mine in the past. Procrastinate, and I get it. It's hard, you know. It's difficult not to procrastinate, but the only way that you're going to get around it is by making a decision to be different than you have been in the past. Making a decision to force yourself to do things that you don't want to do in that moment because you know it's what's best. Short-term discomfort. That's all it is, guys, and that goes into getting over yourself too, like procrastinating, getting over yourself, and trying to develop the confidence to be a little more extroverted and have a conversation with somebody and be kind to somebody that normally you would just keep your head down and keep it pushing because you don't want to talk to people because it makes you anxious and whatever, you know? We don't have to be like that. And the more you do something, the better you're going to get at it. So I implore you to try more often to do these things that you don't want to do and to make an effort to improve in these things that maybe you're not the best at, which is fine. It's okay. Nobody is perfect. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses. The important thing is that you identify what needs change and what needs work, and you do something about it. And you don't negotiate with yourself. You just do it. And you take that energy into everything that you're going to do. You take that energy into your relationships and the way that you view life. And you try and think about things more so as, this is life. Life is not fair. It is what it is. These things are not happening to me because I'm a victim and God is against me and I'm a victim of life. No, you are not going to get anywhere with that mentality. You're not, and you're just hindering yourself. It's like, if I stub my toe on a coffee table and I go, oh, stupid table, it's not the table's fault. It happens. You were walking, you were holding something while you were walking, you're trying to get somewhere, you weren't paying attention, you stubbed your toe. It's not a catastrophe. It's not the end of the world. You just stubbed your toe. Move on. You know? It's the same thing. If you're driving on the road and you get a flat tire, it's like, oh my gosh. Again, this always happens to me. How could this happen to me? This is such a bad day. I spilled my coffee in the morning. My tire's flat. I'm going to be late to work. Be for real, bro. Where's that going to get you? Picking up what I'm putting down, it's not going to get you anywhere. My tire's flat. I ran over a nail while I was driving. Cool. I'm going to put the spare on if I have to. If not, I'm going to go somewhere and put air in my tire and I'm going to drive to where I need to be and I'm going to handle it later because it's fine. If you are alive and you're watching this, you've gotten through you've gotten through every single problem that you've experienced in your life up until this point, whether it was uncomfortable, whether it was difficult, whether it was easy, whether it was scary, whether it made you anxious, whatever it made you feel, you're still here. And you got through the problem. And you survived everything that you've been anxious about. And you made it through every situation that you found yourself in that you were dreading, that you really didn't want to be in. You're still here. You got through it. Congrats. You have 100% success rate when it comes to anxiety and scary feelings. You're still here. So keep going. You're still going to be here and you're still going to get anxious sometimes, but now you have the confidence of this perspective of knowing that 1, you have a choice. 2, you have 100% success rate. Maybe you didn't handle every situation gracefully, right? Sometimes it's a little ugly. That's fine. You still got through it. And you're still going to get through the next ones that you have. It's all going to be fine. But we can't be victims of circumstance. Everybody gets dealt a hand of cards in life. It's up to you to play them. You can't control the cards that you get whenever the dealer deals them out. You can control how you play the game. You can control how you react to them. That's what we need to do. Take accountability and take action. Procrastinate less. Don't complain. Just play the cards that you've been dealt. That's all you can do. I hope this helps. I really just wanted to share some insight on things I've been reflecting upon recently and on this book that is very good. I hope this provides a different perspective. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, what you guys think, what you agree with, what you disagree with. Don't just take everything I say and download and start acting, right? Take it with a grain of salt. I'm human too. I'm not going to be right about everything. I would like to think that I'm fairly educated on this topic based on my life, But take it with a grain of salt. Don't just take things in without a thought and mindlessly. Think about it, chew on it, process it, write about it, go on a walk, think about it. You don't have to do any of these things. I'm just offering suggestions. Anyways, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. In the words of the great Michael Smoke, it isn't easy, but it is simple. And I will see you guys on the next one.